हो गया।
क्या है ये लास्ट मिनट का टेंशन रिविजन के साथ में भी सॉल्यूशन रुको जरा ले लो ये डायरेक्शन सिया के साथ बड़े प्रोग्रेशन छोड़ो वो पेज जो कंफ्यूज करे हर सवाल का जवाब यहाँ पर है
Attending in Python semester 3, please sir, humble request for us.
तुम्हारे सपनों में सिया के साथ सफर है सुहाना दुनिया की हर राह लगे नजराना क्या है ये लास्ट मिनट का टेंशन रिविजन के साथ लगे सॉल्यूशन रुको जरा ले लो ये डायरेक्शन सिया के साथ बड़े प्रोग्रेशन छाया जिंदगी ने रंग सजाया नोट्स और पेपर सब यही टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स तो मस्त है तू भी ट्राई कर एक बार SIA makes learning easier no stress no fear element clear future near रात के सितारे बोलते सपने नहीं बोलते नॉलेज की राह दिखाई सिया बन गई भाई कागज के पहाड़ों को पार कर डिजिटल दुनिया में प्यार कर सपनों के पंख अब फैल गए सिया के साथ पल बेहतर है तू भी ट्राई कर एक बार SIA makes learning easier no stress no fear element clear future near
क्वेश्चन पेपर में सर क्वेश्चन पेपर Good evening, dear students. Welcome to the digital classes of SIA. Welcome to the SIA Last Minute Revision, and today's class is on Relational Database Management Systems, where we have the examination, the end semester examination for this on 24th November 2025, that is tomorrow. Then, so please do download the SIA app from your Play Store, follow our social media handles, download the application and start using the PDFs, topics, notes by topics, and the video content in the SIA app. All the very best for your end semester examinations. Without wasting time, we will go with our syllabus. We will go with our digital class. So we have Relational Database Management System. We simply call it as RDBMS. And coming to the question paper pattern here, your question paper is divided into two parts, part A and part B. In the part A, we will have short answer questions where you need to answer 5 out of 8. Then here, so 8 questions will be given and you are asked to answer any 5. 5 into 2 gives you 10 marks. Okay, this is your first part. If you are not aware of your question paper pattern, please focus on this. You have 2 parts in your question paper. In the pattern 1, in the part A, we have 8 questions. Out of 8, you need to answer any 5. 5 into 10 is 10 marks. After this, we have part B, where we have 40 marks in the part B. For this, you'll have 5 questions from each unit, and you need to answer all the 5. This 5 question comes with the internal choice. This 5 questions comes with the internal choice, 9 ARB, 10 ARB, 11 ARB. You need to answer any one from each unit. Done here. So here 5 into 8 gives you 40 marks. You have internal choice here. 100% you need to answer all the questions, but every question will have an internal choice. Okay, this is your question paper pattern. So we have part A and part B. Part A for 10 marks, part B for 40 marks. Overall paper is for 50 marks. Right? So we'll go with our important questions from each and every unit. See, we made a very simple analysis. These are the basic questionnaire. These are the basic questions which are appeared in almost every year's question paper. So those basic questions will be discussed today. The questions which we feel important and the questions which are appeared very frequently in our previous examinations, in your previous end semester examinations, right? We have shortlisted them, and practically discussing the entire syllabus in 1.5 hour or 2 hours is not possible not here. That's why we came up with this last minute revision idea. We will be sharing you the most important questions from this each unit. So from the unit 1, you have to discuss about 100% these 5 simple definitions. What do you mean by data, database, information, database management system, metadata. This will be the 5 important questions which you need to focus. Maximum you are going to get 1 or 2 short answers from this. What do you mean by the data? Data is considered as a raw collection of place, person, thing, event, anything for which you can collect and store the data. Then here you can collect and you can store it. Raw is unorganized by nature, raw is dirty by nature, raw data is unorganized by nature, data is dirty by nature, data is noisy by nature. When you process this data, you get information. Information is the processed data. Information increases the knowledge of a person. When your knowledge increases, you make better decisions. When you make better decisions, you enjoy better outcomes. You enjoy better results. So when you have the data, then here you are not going to get any essence of it. You are not going to get any meaning of it. It is a raw collection which is unorganized, scattered, just dumped at a place. Right? Now you process that data so that you get the information. Information increases the knowledge of a person. Information is processed data. Information gives you the better knowledge so that you will be able to make better decisions. Always better decisions gives me better results. And the third definition is database. Database is considered as what? Collection of logically related records. Database is considered as collection of logically related records. You will be storing the data from different sources which are logically related to each other under a single roof, under a single place, in a single bucket. It is called as your database. Now when you want to access this data, And when you want to convert this data into information, you need to take the help of a software. That software is called as DBMS, Database Management System. It's a software environment where you will be managing the data, where you will be inserting, updating, deleting, or making retrieving the data, that is selecting your data from the database. This is called as what here? Database management system. And the last definition is metadata. Metadata is considered as what? Simply data about the data. Metadata is simply considered as what? Data about the data. You can make it a little more professional. Metadata consists of characteristics, properties of your actual data, that is called as metadata. And metadata will be stored in the repository, data will be stored in the database, right here. So we have to understand these five simple definitions. What do you mean by the data? Data is a collection of raw facts. Data is unorganized, data is raw, data is dirty and noisy by nature. After this, database. The database is considered as collection of logically related records. Database is considered as collection of logically related records. Third one is information. Information is processed data. Information gives you the better knowledge. So when you gain better knowledge, you can make better decisions. Better decisions leads to better results. So 100% there is a need for me to process, to transfer this data into information. And when the data is stored in the database, and when I want to apply these techniques, when I want to process this data to information, I need to take the help of a software, and that software is called as what here? Database management system. The database management system is a software environment where you can manage the data, where you can insert, update, delete, retrieve, that is select the data. You can give the query and you will be able to process the query in DBMS. And final one is what? Metadata. Metadata is considered as data about the data. Metadata is considered as data about the data. So the properties and characteristics of your data will be stored in the metadata. These are the basic things which you need to understand here. Apart from this, you also have the components of DBM database. Then we have to work on the components of DBMS, which will be hardware, software, people, procedure, data. Please work on them. And one question which we find very important and which is appeared for two times in the last previous year questions here, previous semester examinations, is what are the advantage of DBMS over file-based system? See, in mid 1990s, we started using the database management system. Prior to this, there was file-based system. Now, why and what made me to choose the database management system? What is the disadvantage of the file management system and what is the advantage of the DBMS? Again, students, this is like one shot, two birds. If you remember, what are the advantages of DBMS over file-based system, right? Automatically, these things will become the disadvantages of the file processing system, FPS, or file-based system. So you might get a question like this: what are the advantages of DBMS? What are the disadvantages of file processing system? Okay, so coming to the DBMS, as I said, database management system is a software environment which allows you to manipulate the data, manage the data, which allows you to insert, update, delete, and select the data. The advantages of DBMS are over file-based system are extensive and significantly improving the management. See, end of the day, my data is dumped into DBMS. I want to manage it more effectively. I want to manage it more efficiently. That is my primary intention and that is my final goal. Then here, so that will be the biggest advantage. Then now let us see what is this making DBMS is making like more advantageous than file management system. Why DBMS became more famous than the file management system? Because of this advantages. The very first advantage is program data dependency. Done. So you know data is stored in the database, and when you want to access this database, you need to have an application. You need to have a software. What do you mean by software? The software is considered as set of programs. The software is considered as set of programs. In file management system, if I want to make any necessary changes, upgrade, or I want to change the software, the data structures are also need to be changed. The data need to be changed. Whereas in the DBMS, right, where we don't have any dependency between them. If you make any changes to the data structure, the programs are not affected, the software is not affected. If the programs are affected, the data which is stored, the database structures, the data structures what is stored in the database are not affected. There is a proper independency between them. That is the first advantage of using DBMS over FPS. What is that? Program data independency. Done here. So there is no dependency of programs on data and data on programs. That is software. That is why nowadays data migration is a very simplest task. You can migrate your data from any of the software to any another software, any another upgraded or a new software, because program data independency is supported in DBMS. Planned data redundancy, data consistency, data sharing. See, all these three things will talk about one simple thing. Redundancy is what? Duplication of the data. Duplication of the data need to be reduced. When you reduce duplication of the data, what happens? Consistency increases. And when you don't have the duplication of the data, what happens? Data sharing will take place. Okay, so let me explain this in a simplest way. In the file-based system, suppose there is a file, right? It has to be accessed by 2 or 3 departments. Then what we need to do? We need to create a duplicate copy of the file, and it has to be shared with department 1, department 2, department 3, like this. So if department 1 makes any changes to the data, is it reflected to 2 and 3? No, because they are not making the change in the original doc, they are making the change in the duplicate doc which is available with them. So if I want to make any change, I have to make changes in 3 places now, because 3 duplicate files are stored. And if you make change to one, and if you don't make any change to two, or if you make change to any two and you don't make any one, we have different versions of the data. We have different versions of the data, and that increases what? Inconsistency. And that increases what? Inconsistency. So what we suggested is, in the DBMS, in the database management system, it was suggested to not store different versions of the data, different copies of the data. Data will be stored only in one place. And when data is stored only in one place, it can be shared. It should be shared with other resources, with other departments. That is what? Improved data sharing. Right here. So as I said, these 3 things are interlinked. In the data sharing, what happens is data is stored only at one place, and it is accessed by the multiple transactions. And when it is accessed by the multiple transactions, what happens? Only one version of the data is stored. That increases the consistency. When there is only one version, there is no duplication, then what that is, that redundancy is reduced. Redundancy is what? Repetition of the data. Done here. So in the first place, I said program data independency. There is no relationship, there is no dependency. There is no dependency in the program, software, and the data, the structures of your data. At any time, you can make changes to the software without affecting the data structures. You can change the data structures without affecting the programs. And redundancy is reduced. No duplication of the data is stored. File is stored only at one place, and it is accessed by the various transactions. It is shared to various resources. That is shared. And when data is stored only at one place, when the change is made, it is reflected to everyone. That is what? Consistency. Done. And when you have better advantages like this, what happens is your productivity in development is obviously increased. See, if you are maintaining so many good things, what happens? Automatically your production in the development is increased. And here, and we are enforcing some standards, we are enforcing some security, we are enforcing some integrity constraints, cardinality constraints, so that the standards of your database, the quality of your database is also increased. And the very last one, improved data accessibility and responsiveness because of SQL, structured query language. Because of writing the structured query language, you can directly talk to the database, and you will be able to extract the data from the database. Done? And we are going to discuss those things also today. What do you mean by the client server architecture? What are the 3-tier architecture of the DBMS database? Done? We are going to discuss those things in the upcoming class now. Right here. So the very first question, how the DBMS is advantageous than the file management system? Why DBMS became more advantageous than the file management system? We have improved data sharing, we have improved data consistency, we have reduced the redundancy, there is no dependency between the program and the data. And when these things are done, what happens? Your standard will increase, your productivity will increase, your accessibility and responsiveness will increase, your standards will increase. Done here. So these are the advantages of DBMS over file based system. And one another question which is very frequently asked is this: the architecture, the three-tier architecture of DBMS. And here, when it comes to the three-tier architecture of DBMS, we have three levels, right? So the very first level from the bottom-up approach, when I go from the bottom to top, and here that is internal level, internal schema, right, which is also called as physical level, where data is integrated from various resources. Data is extracted, integrated, right? You integrated is the right term. Data is integrated from the various resources and kept under a single roof. I said the definition of the database: collection of logically related records. You collect the data from various resources and you keep at one place, database. That is your least level, that is your lower level, internal schema. You also call it as what here? The physical level, how data is physically stored. From here, I'll go to the second level, that is conceptual level. We also call it as logical level. That is conceptual level. We also call it as logical level. So your database queries, the constraints, and here all those things are applied in the conceptual level. Here we will be maintaining how the tables are related, the primary keys, foreign keys, that is referential integrity, then entity integrity, domain integrity, or normalizations, right? All this logical mapping is done in the conceptual schema. And when it comes to the last one, that is external view, we also call it as view level. External level, we also call it as view level. That is user interface level. See, when your results are announced, your entire Usmania University results are stored in one database. But at a time, you can see the results of only one student. At a time, you can see the results of only one student by giving the roll number. How is it possible? Because of external view. In the external view, what we do is only the data which is required for the user is displayed and hiding the background things. How the data is stored, where the data is stored, what are the relationships, how it is managed. Everything is hidden from the user. For the user, what we give is what you request, we send. Client server architecture. What you send as an instruction, I send it as a output back to you. That is the only thing what we need do. That is because of external level. End users can view the data as per their requirement and the database will provide the response to them. Right? This is your three-tier architecture. In the three-tier architecture, we have three levels. In the level one, at the bottom level, we have the internal schema. That is the physical storage. Data is being integrated from various resources. That physical storage is in the low level. The second level is what? Conceptual schema. We also call it as what here? Logical level. The whole database logical view is big picture of your database is available in the conceptual level, like the structures, normalizations, then their metadata, how the data has been logically related with the other data, referential integrities, primary key, foreign key, that all that information, all that mapping of your database is available in the conceptual level. We call it as what? Logical level. And the final level is what? External level or view level. User will be interacting with the database because of this external level or view level. User will be sending the request to the server, and server will send the response to the client because of this. Good. The third question is relational algebra and explain various relational operations which can be performed in the DBMS. See, this particular question is asked for maximum number of times. So if you ask me in the comments, sir, what are the gunshot questions, important questions? The first one will be this: relational algebra. Then here, the paper name, the course name itself is the relational database management system. Then, so what do you mean by that relationals? Then here, so relational algebra, the RDBMS is the first model. The relational model is the first model, which is suggested to store the data in the form of rows and columns. That is in the form of tables. Right? In the means, in the terminology of RDBMS, a relation is called as a table. A relation itself is called as a table. So now what we can do and what are the algebraic operations I can perform, the algebraic expressions operations I can perform on my database is this. Sorry. So we have selection. Selection is a basic thing which you perform in every computer lab, in every lab program of yours. Then everywhere when you executed a program, this is a basic thing you perform, that is selection. Selecting the entire rows from your table or subset of rows from your table based upon the condition, that is called as selection. So select rows based on a condition. Like this, I have employees in my table, there are salaries given to them, and now I want to see only the persons whose salary is less than 3,000, 30,000. I can do. Even in our colleges it happens same way. Every student will be applied, but only students whose percentages, attendance percentage is greater than 75 are sent to the Usmania examinations, are allowed to write exams. Then here, whose percentage is less than 75, maybe we will stop them from writing the examinations. How will you retrieve them? You give a very simple query. Select students, attendance greater than or equal to 75. So whose attendance is less than 75, even it is not displayed to you in the table, even it is not displayed to you in a database. How is this possible? Selection. After this, we have projection. Projection is used to apply the filters on your columns. Done. Again, your marks memo, it displays only simplest things, like what is your subject name and what is the grade. Is directly grade calculated? Is directly grade displayed? No. Your internal marks are there, your external marks are there. We average, we calculate, we do some, and then we display the grade out of that. Isn't it, dear? Right? You got internal marks, you wrote external examinations, then out of all these things, then only your grades are displayed. No. But in your final result, only grade is printed. In your final memo, only grade is printed. How? Projection is done there. So we are selecting these specific columns from your database, and only those specific columns are returned. Returns only employee ID and employee name. Other things I don't. Other things I don't even display. Other things I don't even select. That is projection. Selection applies condition on rows. Projection applies filters on columns. Union. Union is used to join two tables. If we have two tables, if data is maintained in two different tables, right, with the same column names, with the same number of columns, with the same data types, now you will be able to find out the unique columns from table 1 and table 2. You will be able to find out unique columns from table 1 and table 2. That is done with the union. Combines unique rows from both the relations. Now there will be only matching, like unique rows from the table 1 and table 2. Matched and matched. So I want only matched columns. Then I have to take what? Intersection. Intersection gives you only the matched rows, that is common rows in both the relations. Then when it comes to the set difference, employee is in employee 1 but not in employee 2. So when you give the condition, when you have two tables, the rows which are only in employee 1 are displayed with employee 2 table. The unique rows which are in the employee 2 are not displayed in the output. The rows only which are in employee 1 and matching with employee 2 are displayed in the output screen. Then, whereas in the intersection, it goes with the common rows in both the relations. In both the tables, what we have common, those things are displayed. Difference, employees in employee 1 but not in employee 2. So, returns rows present in first but not in second. What about the rows which are present in second, not in first? Ignore it, I am not printing them. Cartesian product, every row of table 1 is multiplied with every row of table 2. Cartesian product does what? Every row of table 1 is multiplied with every row of table 2. If there are 3 rows in table 1, 4 rows in table 2, your output is 3 into 4, 12 rows. You get a huge amount of data. Again, you have to sort out, again, you have to do that with the help of selection and projection. Selection applies filters on rows, projection applies filters on columns. After Cartesian product, you need to do that. Joins is used to club two or more tables with a condition. Join is used to club two or more tables based upon a condition. Right here. So we will be writing a condition like employee join with employee, department ID equal to department ID. So it displays employees with their department IDs, matching department IDs. Last one is division. Then here, division is used to find the tuples. Division is used to find the rows. Again, terminology. Tuples means what? Rows related to all tuples of second relation. Like this. Find students enrolled in the subjects. Enrolled in the subjects. Which subject, which student enrolled, you will be able to find out with the help of divisions. Right here. These are relational algebra operators, and one of the most important question which is asked at least for 3 times in the last end semester examinations. We have selection, production, projection, union, difference, intersection, division, join, then here Cartesian product. Please focus on this question. After this, what are the roles of DBA? So when you do better in C++, when you do better in Python programming, you become a software developer. When you do best, when you do better in DBMS, what will be your job profile? What will be your designation? Database administrator. That is DBA, right? What are the roles and functions of the DBA? What a DBA should do in the database? DBA from the beginning, that is from the design to the last implementation and maintenance, everything is done by the DBA only. Starting from the designing to the last step, that is implementation and maintenance, everything will be done by the DBA only. Right here. So we will start with this database design and implementation. Designing the database, that is how the database appears, right? Where are the data navigations, how the tables are related, right? Which table consists of how many rows, columns, data types, constraints, everything is designed in the database design and implementation phase. Okay? It is decided and it is defined by the DBA. Security management, right? Users can read the data, users can update the data, users can delete the data. Which user can do what is decided in the security management, right? Giving the privileges to the user by using the grant and revoke functions is done by the DBA. Maybe you went to the lab and you also did this very first step, connect as DBA, connect as SYS DBA. Then your lecturer would have been given you privileges to your database. Your lecturer would have been created users, and for each and every user we can give the permissions. Security management. And data anytime can be crashed, right? Maybe because of wanted, unwanted reasons, or because of some extraordinary cases. Then the data may be lost, data may be crashed. So taking a backup, and whenever data is crashed, getting a recovery of it is one of the most important things. So DBA will plan about backup and recovery also. Performance monitoring and tuning. See, if there is unnecessary relations in between the table, what happens when you try to run a query? It takes a time more than what it is anticipated. It becomes more complex. Extracting the data also becomes more complex. So that query performance and tuning that query, tuning the table structures is also done by the DBA. Ensure data integrity. Integrity is nothing but security. Integrity is nothing but consistency. Integrity is nothing but, very importantly, completeness. Any query you update, any table you update, it has to move from one consistent state to another consistent state, and it is ensured by the integrity. So giving that integrity constraints like entity integrity, referential integrity, domain integrity is maintained by the DBA. Check constraint, not null constraint, then ease. Okay, so data types, all those things are managed by the integrity, and that is the job role of DBA. Database maintenance updates, regular maintenance of the database, expanding the storage, expanding the table features, all those things are also done by DBA. Capacity planning also falls under the same thing. Then here your storage, you need to plan your table, your number of rows, your number of columns which you need to plan. All those things will be done by the DBA. And most important, troubleshooting and transaction management. Asset properties comes in the transaction management. Right, when the asset properties are done, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability, your transaction will be moving. Your transaction will be making your database from one state, consistent state, to another consistent state. Then here those things are acquired with the transaction management. These are the different job roles given to the DBA. Right, DBA will make sure database design to the troubleshooting and management, as I said. In between insertion of the data, deletion of the data, then here how do you do this? Right, those structures need to be defined, table need to be defined, constraints need to be given, all those things are planned here. Design and implementation, security, backup and recovery, monitoring, ensuring integrity, maintenance, capacity, troubleshooting, and transaction management. And one more important question is ER diagram, the entity relationship diagrams. Done here. See this 1.5 hour or 2 hours of my class maybe give you some knowledge, may not be. But in the examination, when you ask a question, your friend will say like this. Your friend will just to give a hint, right? You will show the question paper, your friend will say something, you'll get the answer. Tomorrow morning, your friend will say write things, you'll write the answers, right? Then, because see, the pictorial representation makes a greater impact rather than the normal plain text. So even when you send a message with plain text, that does not create any impact. If you do it with the help of the graph chart, that gives a better impact on the human brain. So anything which we need to represent it instead of plain text, we represent in the form of a diagrams, and one such diagram is ER diagrams. Now let us look what are the basic building blocks of a ER diagram. When I want to construct a ER diagram, what are the basic things I need to focus? First and foremost thing is I need to have an entity. What is an entity? A real world object. What is an entity? A real world object which is existing in this world. For which you will be able to collect, store the data. It can be a place, a person, a thing, or event. Right? What is an entity? An entity is a real world object for which you can collect and store the data. It can be place, person, thing, event. I am an entity which belongs to teacher class. You are an entity which belongs to student class. Teacher teaches students. Teachers can also be considered as a entity. Usually it is a relationship between you and me, but I can consider it as an entity. Course is an entity. Subject is an entity. YouTube is an entity. Done dear. Attributes. Explaining the characteristics or features of an entity is called as an attribute. So when I speak about student, students has roll number, student has name. When I speak about teacher, I have my ID, I have my skill, I have my subjects. Done here. These are called as what? The characteristics of me, the characteristics of entity, that is called as attribute. Properties or details of an entity. And when it comes to the symbol, see here, entity is represented with the rectangles, attributes are represented with the ellipse. Okay. Now we have different kinds of entities, that is simple, different kinds of attributes, that is simple attribute which cannot be divided. Like when I take your age, it's a simple numerical value which cannot be divided, right? That is called as your simple attribute. Then when it comes to the composite attribute, which can be split into subparts. Like when I take your name, it can be split as first name, middle name, last name. When I take your address, the first four digits are your college code. The second two digits are your academic year, 24 you joined. Done, and it has the course code, program code also, Bcom code, BSc code. Done here. I can divide. When I take the address, I can divide as street, city, village. That is called as your composite attribute. Single valued attribute, when I ask you a question, you will be able to give me only one value. What is your roll number? One value. What is your mobile number? You might have a mobile number and alternative mobile number. What is your mail ID? You can have two mail IDs. Those are called as multi-valued attributes. When user is capable of giving only one answer, then it is single valued attribute. When if you are trying to give multiple answers for the same, multi-valued attribute. Like your name, you have only one name, kada? Single valued attribute. That here. Derived attributes. Derived attributes are calculated attributes. Derived attributes are not direct entries. Derived attributes are calculated attributes. Derived attributes are not direct entries. Like my age. My age is derived from my date of birth and today's date. I have 15 years of experience. My experience is derived from my joining date to current date. Relationships are the important things done here. Relationships gives you the how entities are related to each other, and it is represented by a rhombus shape. We call it as diamond. The teacher teaches students. The relationship between you and me is what? Teaches. Painter paints paintings. The relationship between painter and painting is what? Paints. That is represented by the relationships. And primary key is one of the most important integrity constraints, the entity integrity constraints. Primary key values will not be repetitive. Primary key values cannot be null. Any entity is identified with the help of primary key only, the most unique one. Like police file a challan to my bike. Then how will they going to fine a challan to my bike? Registration number. There is only one registration number. Then No other fellow in the universe shares my registration number, my bike registration number. Your roll number, no other fellow in the universe will have the same roll number. Then those are called as primary key attributes, which are uniquely identifying an entity. After this, right, we have a couple of more things. Total participation. Then it indicates the participation. All entities must participate. Then optional entity is not here. So partial participation. Participation is optional. Everyone may participate or everyone may not participate. That here. So data engineering with Python semester C. 1 minute, I'll break it and I'll go with the comments here. Data engineering with Python semester 3. Okay, we will just take it serious and we will plan to arrange a class for this. E-commerce, yes. See dear, if I speak in Telugu again, some people will say in Hindi. If I speak in Hindi, some people will say in Telugu. So एक काम करते जी, थोड़ा हिंदी में, थोड़ा इंग्लिश में और थोड़ा तेलुगु में भी बात करने के लिए कोशिश करते. Then ड्रीम मेरे सुन के पूरा भूल जा रहे हैं. God bless you. This is RDBMS. 100%. These are the most important questions. As you can see, it is appeared for 2 times or 3 times in the last places. This is appeared for 3 times or 2 times in the last. Yeah, I'm explaining questions and gunshot questions only. Yes, very rightly said. At the rate THCATIS, it looks like easiest subject, but one of the most toughest subject is this. Done here, very well said. It is one of the toughest subject. Muhammad Ibrahim, maybe you came up with a wrong perception, Ibrahim. The one who came to college, who did not come to college, you're not confused. Then I'm trying to give you the basic important questions and what are the basic answers for that important questions. So what are the important concepts given from the syllabus and what are those things you need to do. Then I am not going to confuse you. Maybe I am going to increase the standards of your understanding. Trust me, right? I am going to increase the standards of your understanding, the levels of your understanding. Fifth chapter, Farin Sultana, we will just go with the fifth chapter. One thing which I understood from this chat box till now is I have to speak in little regional language, and the second thing is I have to level down the teaching standards. I have to level down the teaching standards. Just give me a minute. Then here I'll come up with this important questions. Sir, sir, please. Then see, ER diagram is one of the most important question which is asked for 2 times in the last year, previous year question paper. What do you mean by ER diagram? How the database is stored, what is the structure of your database is represented to the client or the other people in the team in the form of a diagrams. That is called as an ER diagram. Right here. So this will be a sample ER diagram. Anything here what you see in the rectangle boxes, it is called as an entity. Anything what you see in this diamond boxes, right, you call it as relationships. And this ellipse indicates attributes of your entity. This ellipse indicates attributes of your entity. So when you take an entity, it can be a student, course, tutor. Ibrahim, I'm not confusing you, no. You are a student and you are an entity. I am Srikant, I am a tutor, I am an entity. You have your roll number, you have your name, group and course, marks. Those are called as what? Attributes. See, student has ID, phone number, first name, last name. Those are called as attributes. I'm a tutor, I have my ID, I have my name. These are attributes of mine. If there is any one attribute, you can simply split into parts, then it is called as composite attribute. Like your name Ibrahim, you have a Muhammad Ibrahim, right? First name, last name. I can split it two parts. First name, last name. Your age cannot be split. Your mail ID can split into two parts. Mail, domain @gmail.com, @yahoo.com. That is the second part. I can split it. Your age, I cannot split. Simple attribute. Then when I ask your name, you have only one name, no? Right? That is single valued attribute. When I ask your mobile number, you might have two mobile numbers. That is called as multi-valued attribute. I'm just trying to showcase that. Then any entity, no, there will be a relationship between the entities. That is relationships. Then here, so courses are offered by the department. Courses are taught by the tutors. Students will enroll to courses. If there are many students in many courses can have many students. That is called as many to many relationship. One teacher teaches many students. That is called as one to many relationship. And one student in the comment said, my class topper used to teach me. One on one. One topper is teaching to one of the fellow student in the class. Then it is called as what, dear? One entity to one entity, one to one relationship. Relationship indicates the participation of one entity with the another entity. Okay. After unit 1, we will jump into unit 2. We considered last 5-year question papers and 5 times normalization is appeared. So normalization is one such important topic. You get the question paper, you don't see normalization, give the question paper back. That is not RDBMS question paper, some other question paper they gave you by mistake. Such an important concept is normalization. Right here. So normalization is what? Normalization is a evaluation of table structures and eliminating any anomalies. Normalization ఏంటి నాన్న, టేబుల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఆ టేబుల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ కొంచెం డిస్టర్బెన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంటుంది. దానివల్ల మీకు లాట్ ఆఫ్ మిస్టేక్స్, లాట్ ఆఫ్ ఎర్రర్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, డేటాని స్టోర్ చేయలేకపోతున్నారు. దాన్ని ఎవాల్యుయేట్ చేయడమే నార్మలైజేషన్. आज अगर आपको नॉर्मलाइजेशन में टेबल में क्या होता है, डेटा सही से स्टोर हुआ लेकिन उसका स्ट्रक्चर गलत है, रिलेशनशिप्स गलत है, एक टेबल से दूसरा टेबल का रिलेशनशिप अगर मैं रिलेशन करना चाहे तो वो नहीं हो रहा. क्यों? वो स्ट्रक्चर गलत है. वो स्ट्रक्चर को आप सीधा करना, सही करना, उसको क्या बोलते हैं हम लोग? नॉर्मलाइजेशन बोलते हैं. नॉर्मलाइजेशन से टेबल के अंदर डेटा रहता ना, उससे कुछ भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता. अगर आप अंदर क्या रखी, कैसा रखी, मेरे को नहीं मालूम. राइट? मैं डेटा को टच भी नहीं करते, लेकिन टच क्या करते हैं? मैं స్ట్రక్చర్ को టచ్ करते हैं. उसको क्या बोलते हैं जी? నార్మలైజేషన్ बोलते हैं उसको. దాని టేబుల్లో మీ డేటా ఏం పెట్టారో నాకు సంబంధం లేదు, కానీ ఆ కాలమ్స్ ఏంటి, డేటా టైప్స్ ఏంటి, రిలేషన్షిప్స్ ఏంటి, దాన్ని మనం డిసైడ్ చేసేది నార్మలైజేషన్. ఓకే. సో నార్మలైజేషన్ ఇస్ ఎ సిస్టమాటిక్ అప్రోచ్ ఇన్ ది డేటాబేస్ డిజైన్. The most important thing is reduce the redundancy. What do you mean by redundancy? Repetition of the data. Unnecessarily don't repeat your data in multiple places. Data should be stored only in one place. It should be shared with the multiple resources. That is what you need to do. So normalization is usually done in step-by-step process. Normalization is a process of decomposing the tables. You will be dividing the tables into smaller parts. We have first normalization form, 2NF, 3NF, BCNF. BCNF is called as boys, BOYCE, CODD, COD, boys COD normal form. BCNF is a special form of third, it is not fourth. Fourth alage, fifth alage. Done here. So what do you mean by 1NF is, in the 1NF there should be no atomic, there should be only atomic values, no repeating groups. In any given row, in any given cell, you should place only one value. See again, no, why we kept, I mean in the syllabus, why we kept simple attributes? Someone said I'm confusing. No, why simple attributes are here? Because simple attributes cannot be divided. Single valued attributes, one row, only one value. That is your first normalization form. In the very first normalization form, what I said, no repeating groups, there should be only atomic values. One row should consist of only one value, that is simple or single valued. Then your table is automatically in the First normalization form. If you understand that simple attribute, single attribute, you will understand the first normalization form easily. What is first normalization form here? No repeating groups, right? If I say what is your skill set, you say C, C++, Java, Python. One student giving 4 skills. Now what I'm supposed to do? I need to store the data in 4 rows. In one row, there should be only one value. Your roll number, C language. Your roll number, C++. Your roll number, Java. Your roll number, Python. Like this, I have to store. That is called as first normalization form. And in the second normalization form, done here, you should be identifying the primary key and you should make sure there is no partial dependency. There should be no partial dependency. No partial dependency. There should be only fully functional dependency. Now, what is this dependency? Then, when I have a table, there are multiple columns. One column is chosen as primary. When I have a table, there are multiple columns like student roll number, name, group, course, year, marks, like this. There should be only one column which is identified as primary key, such that all these other columns are dependent on primary key. Like if I know your roll number, I can say you belongs to which college, which group, which course. Your marks, your results. Then you go and you say your name to the internet fellow or in the database, you will not get your results. Your results are displayed only by your roll number. Then how many challans are there in my bike, on my bike? I go to TS Challan, I type my bike number, that gives me all these details. That is primary key. Now there should be no column, right now, which is dependent on part of this. Then that is called as partial dependence. So if in any case you are not able to choose one column as a primary key, you make 2 columns club and you make it as a primary key. If the other 4 non-key attributes are dependent on this 2 completely, then it is functional dependency. If any one column is dependent on only one part, then it is called as what here? Partial dependency. Then it is called as what? Partial dependency. You applied for scholarship. You gave your income certificate. Right? How come you'll give your income certificate? Do you earn? Do you have any income certificate? You give the income certificate of your father. Right? No. Now your income is dependent on your fathers, not on you. That is partial dependency. That is partial dependency. 3NF, there is no transitive dependency. Table should be in 2NF and there is no transitive dependency. What is transitive dependency? If a non-key attribute is dependent on another non-key attribute, then it is called as what here? Transitive dependency. At the end, what I want to say is, you have a table, you have to choose one column as primary key, all the other non-key attributes are dependent on primary key. That is functional dependency. If this is satisfied, you are in 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. Right? 1NF says no repeating groups, one cell, one row, one value. 2NF says there should be no partial dependency. Right? All non-key attributes are fully functionally dependent on key. 3NF, there is no transitive dependency. Non-key attribute should depend only on primary key. Not non-key is dependent on another non-key, problem. BCNF, Boy Scout normal form. If a non-key attribute is dependent on another non-key, transitive. Okay. If a primary key is dependent on non-key, then it is called as BCNF. If a primary key attribute is dependent on non-key attribute, then it is called as BCNF. So what we do is, you interchange. You make non-key as key, you make key as non-key. Then it becomes what here? BCNF. Right, ma? This is about normalization. After normalization, how this file organization is done and what are the different types of file organization, again, which is appeared for 2 times. Done here. So we are talking about the most important questions which appeared for the last semesters. In the last semesters, which questions appear, we are talking about only those things. Okay. And again, I'm not teaching to the complete depth. I'm just giving the conceptual idea so that you can prepare for your exams. File organization refers to logical and physical arrangement of records. File organization means how records are stored in your files in the secondary storage devices like the hard disk. Right? When you copy a PDF into your pen drive, how it is stored? That is your file organization. Then here, how the data is stored in the secondary devices, that is discussed in the file organization. Okay. So what are the different types of file organization? We have heap. In the heap, what we do is we will just throw the data wherever there is a empty space that is occupied. So insertion of the data is very easy, but there is no pattern, there is no order. So when you want to retrieve the data, it is most tough. Then I'm not confusing you, I'm giving you the simplest answer. What is heap? Records are stored in any order. So it is fast to insert but slow to search. Like you go to your bedroom, you throw all your things into your bed, onto your bed, you throw them. Wherever you find a space, you dump them. That is heap. But when you want to search them, that becomes a tough task, isn't it? That is called as heap file organization. So wherever is a space, I dump my data. But when I want to retrieve it, tough problem. Sequential. Records are stored in this sorted order. So when you put them in the sorted order, like you put the books in the library with a number in a shelf, you put. So insertion itself is a tough. But when you want to retrieve them, when you want to apply the range to them, when you want to apply equality to them, that is very, very easy. That is less than, greater than, or equal to. You can apply any sort of selection and you'll be able to retrieve the data. That is selection file organization. Good for ranges, slow updates. Done. Indexing. Use index for fast access, no extra space is needed. Your actual order will be linked with a special key and it will be stored into your same table. That is indexing. Your actual order, you have a special key. You place it in a separate, then it becomes what? Hashing. This is like your index in your textbook. Right? In your textbook, if I want to ask you where is normalization, you will turn your pages or you will see the index, you will see the first contents of your textbook. You will see the contents of your textbook, topic name, page number. You will be able to identify that page number. You will just open that page number and you will read your data. That is indexing and hashing. In the indexing, what happens is your order and your actual indexing and your table comes in the same place. Whereas here in the hashed, you will have a separate one and a separate one. Done here. So you want me to explain BCNF? Done. In the BCNF, I received it in the comments here. One of our students is asking to explain BCNF in the comments. Okay. So usually when you take a table here, a table will have a primary key, right? Non-key attributes. All these non-key attributes are dependent on primary key. If I know the primary key value, I can say the values of this non-key attributes. I can say the value of this non-key attributes. Like if I know the roll number, I can say the student name, student college, student group and course, student marks, attendance, everything I can say. If there is a situation like this, this roll number is also dependent on the non-key attribute. Then it happens what dear? BCNF. What is the actual rule? Non-key attributes are dependent on roll number. If there is a situation, roll number is dependent on non-key attribute. Primary key is dependent on non-key attribute. Like your roll number is dependent on your admission number. If you get admission into my college, I'll give roll number. If not, no. But roll number is hall ticket number, your results, your marks, everything is based on your hall ticket number only. Roll number only. Right? Now what happens is your primary key is the admission number and non-key is your roll number. You have to divide it into a table. You have to keep it into a separate table and don't take roll number as primary key. Roll number is normal key. Admission number is primary key. That is BCNF. Right? I'm just trying to repeat it. Non-key attributes are dependent on primary key. That is functional dependency. In any case, key attribute is dependent on non-key attribute. Then it is called as BCNF. So what are you supposed to do? Key should become non-key. Non-key should become key. Then your BCNF is satisfied. Done here. Right? So file organization is also completed. This allows you to understand how the data is stored, how the records are stored into your file. In the heap, wherever I get a space, I throw my data. So that insertion is easy. Extracting the data is tough because I don't know where the data is placed, unorganized. Sequential, records are stored in the sorted order. so that it is easy for you to find out the data. That's why we have slow updates. Indexing and hash, it is like index in your textbook. We have a contents page so that it is easy for me to find out the exact location of each and every record. Right? That is what I am talking. Indexing. So how do you do the indexing? What do you mean by the indexing? An index is a data structure like a table of contents that maintains mapping between key values and actual locations. An index is very much similar to the table of contents in your textbook. An index acts like a table of contents helping the DBMS to find the record easily. That is an index. And here, so you have the database, you have tables, each and every table, each and every row can have a key value, can have an index. Like you have index in your textbook, how many units are there, in unit how many chapters are there, in which page number we have, everything we maintain, that is index. And we have different types of indexings here, are ordered, primary, done. So in the ordered indexing, what we do is we'll have a sorted index. Your original data will have the original key values and your mapping. Then you have a primary key node. Then you have a table node. For everything, we will give a key value. That key value for every row, I'll give a key value. Ordered index. Primary index, I'll give it only to the primary key of your table. That is called as primary index. Done here. And the secondary index. So the keys which are not primary keys also, which are non-key attributes also, for that keys also I can give the key index, that is called as secondary index. Dense index, entry for every record, every row comes into your table, give a key value. Like you go to DMart, you purchase, you get an invoice number. Every purchase you get an invoice number, that is dense index. If you feel dense index is troubling because every row is giving a key value, increases the data size. So what I can do is I can give the index number for one block. Right? I can give index for one page. That is called as sparse index. Multi-level index, you already created an index. Now on this index, you create one more index. Right here. So that becomes multi-level index. Again, it becomes very easy for you to search your data. Composite index, to 2 columns or 3 columns, you can club and you can give the index number. That is composite index. Hash index, you will have a separate key value. This is very fast for the equity search. You will maintain a separate key value for your data and you'll have the actual data. So that with this key value, I'll be able to identify this. Clustered index, data ordered again by the index. Non-clustered index, separate from your actual data. You'll have a separate file for your index, separate file for your data. Those becomes non-clustered index. Bitmap index uses bits like what is your gender. There are only two possibilities, male or female, right? Like when you play a game, they will ask question. Do you want to terminate? Yes, no. Right? In that case, S can be considered as 1, no can be considered as 0. 2 bits, 1, 0, 1, 0. In that cases, you use bitmap index. And the most trending one, everyone are using is B-tree index, a balanced tree, which supports for searching, sorting, and everything done with the help of B-tree index. These are the different kind of indexes which allows you to understand how the data is stored into your table. Coming to the unit 3, we have our SQL queries in the unit 3. Coming to the unit 3, that is SQL queries in the unit 3. You know SQL queries, right? SQL queries are basically categorized into 4 categories: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL. DML, DDL, DCL, TCL. Out of which we will discuss 3: DDL, DML, DCL. Right? Let us see a question which is again asked for 2 or more times. Explain DML commands and DCL commands in the SQL. So now data manipulation commands, by the name you understand, data manipulation. This commands will be working on the data of your table. This commands will be working on the data of your table. When it comes to the DDL commands, data definition language, those things will work on the outer structure of your table. So defining a table, manipulating a table, updating a table, deleting a table are done in DDL. Inserting the data, updating the data, retrieving the data, rows, that is done with the help of DML. Rows are called as tuples. Rows are called as what? Tuples. So what are the DML commands we have? We have four DML commands, 5 DDL commands. We have 4 DML commands: insert, update, delete, select. We have four DML commands: insert, update, delete, select. So once the table is created, once the columns are defined, the data types are defined, you can insert the rows into your table according to that structure. You can insert rows into your tables according to that structure. That is called as insert command. Right? Insert is one of the DML command. So insert command is used to add new data, and you do it with the help of the command insert, and we have to use the keyword into. Where are you inserting? You are inserting into your table. So you have to write student, teacher, employee, whatever table created by you. Insert into student. Then what are you inserting? You are inserting values. So you have to use the keyword values. See, it consists of insert statement consists of 4 simple things. You are doing insertion. So write insert. Where are you inserting? Into your table. Into is a single word. Into your table name. Your table name is defined in the DDL. Once the table is decided, then only you can insert the values. What are you inserting finally? Values are inserted by you. So insert into student values, and this value should be given in the same order what they appear in the table structure. In the same order how you created the table, with the same data type, with the same column size, with the same constraints, how you created the table, in the same order you need to store the rows. That is insert. By mistake, after storing the rows, you made a mistake. Then here, instead of 98, I wrote 99. Instead of 98, I wrote 88. Then here, there is a typo error. I don't want to change the entire table. I want to change that one particular value. Then what I can do? I can do update. And how does these things work? Again, very simple. You are doing what? Update. So write the command update. Where are you updating? On your table. Update student. Right? What are you doing? You are replacing the old value with a new value. You are trying to set a new value to old value. Use the same thing. Set age equal to 21 where roll number 1. Now this is the condition. If you don't write this where roll number equal to 1, every row in your table age will be defined as 21. For every row in the table your age will be decided as 21. I don't want. I want only for one column. Then one row, then what I'm supposed to do, I have to use the condition where roll number equal to 1. Delete. You can simply write delete from student. You need not write everything. You can simply write delete from student. All the rows from the student are deleted. You can simply write delete from student. All the rows from the student are deleted. If you write delete from student where roll number equal to 1, you are applying the where clause. You are applying the condition. Only one row from your table is deleted. That is this. Next, select. Retrieve the data from student. This is the most important thing. Why you are storing your data? To retrieve it. So how do you do this? Select asterisk from student. Asterisk indicates all. If you want to select only 2 columns, you have to apply projection, what we saw in the unit 1. You have to apply projection, what we saw in the unit 1. That is, select employee ID, comma, employee name from employee table. Select student ID, comma, student name from student. So only 2 columns are selected. Done here. These are DML commands available in our SQL. So what are DML commands? Data manipulation language commands. These commands will perform the transactions, will make the updates on your data, not on your table structures. Okay. So what are the DML commands we have? Insert, update, delete, select. Insert, update, delete, select. So when you use insert, you will be able to insert rows into your table. When you use insert, you will be able to insert rows into your table. Command is like this. Insert into student values. So what are you doing? Insertion. Where? Into your table. What are you inserting? Values. Values. Give the values as per the same order of your structure. How you define your table, same. Update student, set age equal to 21. Now, if you want to change any one value or any multiple values based upon the condition, we use update. and update comes with this special clause set. Delete, if you want to delete all the rows, simply write delete from student. If you want to delete specific rows, delete from student where roll number equal to. Select is a command which is used to retrieve the data from the user. So select asterisk from student. These are DML commands. Okay. After this, we have DCL commands. DCL commands are data control language. So DCL commands are used to give the permissions, are used to take back the permissions from the user. So we have two DCL commands, grant, revoke. Grant is used to give the permission to the user so that I can assign the permission to the user. User can update the data also. Usually users can read the data, but users can update the data also. I can grant. Grant, select, insert on customer T to Alice. So on customer T table, a user called as Alice can insert, can update the data, cannot delete, because permission is given only for selection and insertion. Once the permission is given, once the task is completed, I can take back the permission. That is called as revoke. Removes permissions from the user. After permissions are given, we can also take back the permissions. Done here. So these are DML commands, right? Any sensible doubt? Leave a message. Any sensible doubt? Leave a message, right? So can you see the commands? Done. After this, what we have is DDL commands, again, which is asked for 3 times. BCNF I gave you. Now there is see, when it comes to the final examination, people will expect you to write the quality and quantity. So maybe it is better if you write the good content, right? So you need to write definitions, you need to write theory, you need to explain all these things. Dear, once this third chapter is completed, I'll go with fourth chapter, Lakshmi. Just give me 10 minutes, Lakshmi, 15 minutes. I'll complete this third, and I'll jump to fourth chapter now. Once I complete this, I'll jump to fourth chapter. Just give me 15 minutes. I'll not take much time. And long answer, how many pages it should be? Vaishnavi, it depends upon the question, Vaishnavi. So if they ask you DDL commands, why don't you write what are the commands, what are the SQL, and 4 types of commands are there, and start DDL, right? Write a tabular column like this, definition, and try to write 2 or more SQL queries, and also try to write the output for that. You draw a table for that, then you'll be getting more marks for it. 100% drishti. In the normalization, you should draw your diagrams, because diagrams gives you the better understanding than the theory, right? When I said what is transitive dependency, then how do you interchange them? You can show them better way with the help of diagrams only. And if you write diagrams in the normalization, you have a very much chance to score good marks. Even if your content is little here and there also, you will get better marks with the help of diagrams in the normalization. Focus on diagrams, please. Haji. Because DCL might be asked as a short question also, Sumit. वो भी short question जैसा पूछ सकते जी. So last हम DCL देखे ना, grant and revoke. वो short question जैसा पूछ सकते. So we plan like questions are kept here and we are explaining. It can be asked both in the places, short and long. Prashant, sir is explaining in a very easy way. You can trust it. Done. Sir, well, questions maximum, Nana. Maximum, we are expecting these questions will be appeared in your examination. Maximum, we are trying in the same way. Right. Prashant, welcome to the class. We have DDL commands, Prashant. Right? What do you mean by DDL commands here? Data definition language. With the help of DDL commands, you will be able to create a table. You will be able to create an index. You will be able to create a schema. Done here. So we will focus on table. Right? Coming to the DDL commands, we have 5 commands. Create, alter, rename, truncate, drop. Rename, truncate, drop. So the very first one is what? Create. Create command is used to create an object in your database. So the famous object is what? Table. You can also create a schema. You can also create index. Done here in your tables. But one of the famous object is what? Table. You can also create views, no? Did you create views in your practical examination? We can also create views. Done here. So coming to the DDL, data definition language, you will be able to create various types of database objects like tables, schemas, indexes. So we will go with the creation of a table. Create a new table. So how are you going to create? So we have to write a very simple command. What is my purpose? Create. Write create first. So what I'm creating a object table. So there are different objects I can create. Tables, schemas, index. If I want to create a table, create table. If I want to create index, create index. If I want to create schema, create schema. Bas utna hi hai. Very simple. I am creating a table, so I have to create a table. Every table will have a unique name. Every table will have a unique name. So you write create table student. That is your name. If there is someone who already created a table student, you cannot create. If there is someone who already created a table student, you cannot create. You have to choose one more name. If not, delete it. Drop kar do. Once the student is created, it consists of roll number, data type, size, any constraint. These are the four things which we need to write. Name of the column, data type of the column, size of the column, if there is any constraint, like not null, unique, check, if there is any constraint, primary key, foreign key, you can write. If not, three things fine. Table name, data type, size. Table name, data type. When you go with integer, you don't specify size. When you go with number, you specify the size. Number, you use the data type number, specify the size. You go with the date data type, DATE, no size. Just write hiring date, joining date, birth date, date. Date is your data type, no size. But when you take character and when you take varchar, varchar is a combination of numbers and characters. We need to specify the size, right? Like this, you will create a table here. DDL command, first command is what? Create. What are you creating? Table. Table will have a name. You are creating table for you. You have a name. So give the name. Create table, table name. Table consists of what? Columns, right? Column name, data type, size. Column name, data type, size. Separate by a comma. After this, we have alter. So again, you created a table and 4 columns are created by you. I need 5th column. I created a table with a size of 30, but I need now size of 40. Then what I'm supposed to do? I need to alter the table. For that purpose, we use the command alter, and the command goes like this: alter table student, like create table student, alter table student. Alter comes with 3 subclauses: add, modify, drop. If you want to delete a column, drop. If you want to add a new column, add. If you want to change the name of a column, size of a column, modify. Simple English, man. Simple English, right? Alter table student. नया ऐड करना आपको కొత్తది యాడ్ చేయాలనా యాడ్ అని తీసుకోండి. అగర్ వైస్ డిలీట్ करना ఏదైనా ఒక కాలమ్ ఉంది ఆ కాలమ్ ని తీసేద్దాం మనం డ్రాప్ చేసేయండి. Right? If you want to change the size name of a column, modify, alter table name, add. New column is added. What new column is added? Age. Which data type? Int. That's it. Right? Drop. If you want to delete one table, the complete rows of your table, the complete structure of your table, use the command drop table student. See, create table student, alter table student, drop table student. Structure is same, object is same. You have to just change that one word. Easy question. ఈ క్వశ్చన్ వస్తే మీరు 10 on 10, 15 on 15 ఎంత ఉంటే అంత తెచ్చుకోవచ్చు. Done. Drop table student. Table is deleted. I want to delete the rows from the table but not structure, so that I can use in the future. If we use drop, what happens? Data పోయింది, structure కూడా పోయింది. Data is deleted, structure is also deleted. But no, I want to keep the skeleton like that, structure like that, but only remove the data. So I can use it in future. Instead of creating new table, I can use it. Then go with the command called as truncate. Truncate deletes all the rows, but the keep table structure like that. The columns are kept like that only. Done here. And finally, my friend did the program. I changed that fellow's name to my name. Prashant program anta chesindu. Prashant did the entire program in the class, but I went to lab and I made it to Srikanth. Prashant to Srikanth. Then you can do it with the help of rename. rename table employees to EMP. So there is a table called as employees, but I changed the name to what? EMP. Like you change your folder name or contact name or same way. Rename table employees to employee. Now look at the commands. All the commands are flowing with the same structure. Create table student, alter table student, drop table student, truncate table student, rename table employees student. అది కూడా స్టూడెంట్ అని రాసుకోండి మీరు ఏం కాదు ఓపీ స్టూడెంట్ చేసి ఎక్సెప్ట్ తెచ్చి నో ప్రాబ్లమ్ విత్ ఇట్ సో DDL command is the most easiest question for you to understand, right? So in the DDL command we have 5 done. In DML we have 4: insert, update, delete, select, right? In DCL we have 2: grant, revoke. You can give the permissions, you can take back the permissions. So nested queries, again it is asked for 2 times. You know SQL query which gives you the result. Done here. Now you have to apply 2 or more conditions on the same row. Then you can do it with the help of nested queries. Such that you write a query, inside that you write one more query. You write a query, inside that you write one more query. The results of second query are considered as input of outer query. The results of second query are considered as input for the first query. That is called as nested queries. So you write a query inside a query. The first query what you write is called as outer query. The second query what you write in the parenthesis is called as inner query. Which query is executed first? Inner query is executed first. The brackets is executed first. Now inner query is executed, it generates the results. Those results are taken as input for outer query. Those results are taken as input for outer query. Those are called as nested queries. And we have 2 types of nested queries: simple query, correlated subquery. Simple query, it runs only for once and it gives you the results, done. Correlated subquery, it runs for repeated number of times as per your outer queries. That is called as subquery, correlated subquery. Done here. So the question which is SQL query, nested queries, which is appeared for 2 times. What is a subquery? A query which is written inside a query is called as a subquery. Done here. The basic structure of SQL query involves clauses like select, from, where, group by, having, and order by. And group by, order by, you have to make sure you have to learn for it. You have to learn it. Group by and order by. Pakka నేర్చుకున్నాను. Maximum that question can be asked. Nested queries are also known as subqueries. What do you mean by query inside another query is called as subquery. Okay. Now we have views. What do you mean by a view? View is a subset of a table. View is a subset of a table. That is called as view. See, when you ask me the data, I am not giving the entire data. Why I'll give my entire database to you? I'll give only a portion of my database to you. That is called as what, dear? Views. See the importance of views. That importance are one of the very best important thing which is implemented in the real world. Which is implemented in the real world. Done here. Because when the entire data is stored, instead of giving you the entire data, I'll give you only a portion of the data. That is called as this. Right here. Which command in SQL is used? Do you have any comment for that? Best thing for exam you have to read. Sir, SQL, which command will come tomorrow exam? Salman Sheikh, you have to read DDL, DML, and DCL. You have to read all 3. You have to read all 3, Salman Sheikh. Out of that 3, 100% you are going to get one. DDL, DML, DCL. You read this 3. If you are fortunate enough, then you will get one short answer, one long answer also. You will get one short answer, one long answer also. Please read both. 3. Read all 3. Done here. Views. Views are what? A portion of your table. A subset of your table is called as a view. So when user is requesting for the data, security reasons, instead of giving the entire data to the user, I'll give a portion of it. That is called as what, Nana? View. And based upon the view creation, if any change is made to the view, it is also affected in the original table. This is original table with 100 rows. I'll create a view with 10 rows, and that 10 rows are given to you. Okay, 10 rows. 100 rows are in my database. I'll take only 10. I'll create a view. I'll give it to you. If you make any change to this 10, again based upon your DCL grant permission, any change you make to this 10, it is also affected in the original table where I have 100. Such a powerful object is view. Again, when you want to create a view, you have to use the command create. Create view good student, right? So I'm just creating a view, and my view name is what? Good student. I'm using a special key, special join as as. So already there is a table. I said no. From that table, I'm extracting the data and I'm creating a table. So create view good student as select SID GPA from students where GPA is greater than 3.0. If student grade is greater than 3.0, in foreign they'll be having only 4. Then in our India we have 0 to 10 as grades. Then when I took this command, I took it from the foreign databases. They have only 4 grades. You get 3, your result is great, absolutely great. So good students whose CGPA is greater than 3.0, I kept in a separate part that is called as view, and that name is view good student. We are creating it very simply like this. Okay, create command is used for that. So view is a subset of a query. View is used to take a portion of your data and store it. That is called as subset. Okay, dear. Querying a view, retrieve data from the view like a normal table. So performing the queries on your table is very easy. Then you will be able to retrieve the data from the view like a normal table. You have to just write select. You have to just write a select. You will be able to retrieve the data from views as a normal table. Select name, SID from B students. Now B students is a view. I am selecting the table from there. As simple as that. Updating a view. As I said, any change what you make to this view based upon the scenario, it can also update to the original table. So you can also update view. View with the check option. View with check option is here. What are the rows inserted by you should satisfy the actual condition of your original table. Then only your insertion will take place. Then only your creation will take place. So that is also defined with the option check. Final one, dropping a view. Any view which is created, any object which is created can be dropped by using the table drop. Okay. So joins, one of the most important question which is asked at most for 3 times in the last end semester examinations. Then join is one of the most important thing. When the data is placed in 2 or 3 different tables, I can write a single query. I can extract the data from this. That is called as your join. Join is an operation which is used to combine rows from 2 or more tables based on a related column between them. There should be a common column in table 1 and table 2. Then I can retrieve and then I can pull the data. That is called as what, dear? Join. Okay. See, in your college, attendance is maintained by your teacher, lecturer. Fees details and other details are maintained by the admin. Marks and other details are managed by the examination branch. In 3 places, you are identified by your roll number. So roll number is a common column in examination branch, in fee counter, in your attendance. Right? 3 databases, I can join them. Done here with the help of one common column, that is your roll number. Right? That is join. When the data is stored in 3 different places by 3 different people, we will be able to join the data from the 3 different tables. Done here. For that purpose, we use join. And look at the definitions very clearly. Join is a clause used to combine rows. Join is a clause used to combine rows from 2 or more tables based on a related column between them. So you should have a common column. Based upon that common column, I'll retrieve the data. And this is a tree structure, a very simple picture about your joins. Right? There are basically 4 types of joins: inner join, outer join, self join, cross join. When it comes to the inner join displays only the columns which are matching in table 1 and table 2. Right? Inner join gives you the columns which are matching in table 1 and table 2. So you are extracting the rows from two tables, right here. There are some unmatched rows in table 1, unmatched rows in table 2. I can't display them. I'll display only the matching values in table 1 and table 2. That is called as inner join. And in the inner join, you can also use the equi-join. It exactly matches with the value of a row also. Not only with the column, with exactly the value of a row also is matched. Equi-join. Outer join, we have left outer, right outer, full outer join. We have left outer, right outer, full outer join. Coming to the left outer join, what we do is, see the table which you write in the first is left. Then you write join command and you write the second command. That is called as what dear? Right table. The table which writes first is called as left, join keyword, then right. The first coming table is left. So in the left outer join, what we will do is all the unmatched rows from the left table and matched rows only from the left and right table are displayed in the output. That is called as left outer join. Did you get this, dear? What we will do in the left outer join when you are joining two tables, this is left table, this is right table. So it will display the common rows from table 1, table 2 and also unmatched rows from table 1. That is left outer join. When it comes to the right outer join, you have two tables. You will display matched rows from both the tables and also unmatched rows from the second table, that is the right table, is called as right outer join. Right? You have two tables, matching rows are displayed. Only matching rows are displayed. Inner join. You have two tables, matching rows and unmatched from the first table, left outer join. You have two tables, matching rows and unmatched rows from the right outer join. I want to display matched, unmatched from first table, from the second table, everything. Then it is called as what? Full outer join. Then it is called as what here? Full outer join. And coming to the last one, cross join. All the rows of table 1 are multiplied with all the rows of table 2. So if there are 3 rows in table 1, 4 rows in table 2, so your output will consist of 12 rows, 3 into 4. All the rows of table 3 are multiplied with all the rows of table 4. That is called as what here? Cartesian product. You also call it as cross join. This is the overview about your joins. Okay. So coming to the inner join, only matched rows are displayed. Coming to the outer join, you will display matched rows and unmatched rows from table 1, left outer. Unmatched rows from table 2, right outer. Unmatched rows from table 2 and table 1, full outer. Okay. Cross join, you can multiply every row of table 1 with every row of table 2. That is called as what here? Cross join. Okay. So join is one of the most important things. See, now students were asking me, sir, fourth unit. Then fourth unit, very interesting concepts. Like you have deadlocks and you also have locking techniques. Right here. To avoid deadlocks, what is a deadlock? I'll show it in the next slide. To avoid deadlocks, the most important thing is binary locks or exclusive locks. That is locking technique. See, I'll make it very simple. You have timetable in your class, right? You go to the college, you'll have a timetable. Then your first period is mathematics, second period is statistics, third period is business account, something like this. No. So if a faculty is teaching in the first hour, the other faculty cannot come and teach because you are the data, you are the database which is locked by them. Then until and unless you are released, until and unless that faculty goes out, another faculty will not come and will not take your class. Why? Because you are locked, and that is called as a time stamping locking technique. And that is called as what here? Time stamping locking technique. So any given database will be locked by a transaction for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, like this. If the transaction locked a database for 15 seconds and transaction completes data in 11 seconds, the other 4-second transactions will remain idle, database will remain idle, it is not given to anyone. Suppose database is locked by a transaction for 15 seconds, but transaction needs 18 seconds. So after 15 seconds, 100% transaction should free the database. So again it has to go to the queue, again come back and request for next 3 seconds. Like this we will do. This is a locking technique in your DBMS. Done here. So why we do this locking technique is to avoid inconsistency, to avoid deadlocks. If me accesses the database at the same time, inconsistency. If me and financial accounting sir standing here and teaching to you, what happens? You will not understand anything because you are a database which is accessed by 2 transactions. No, if one transaction is accessing the database, the other transaction should wait until I complete. Who said this? This is said by deadlocks. This is said by locking techniques in our DBMS. So coming to this, a lock is a control mechanism used by the DBMS. Ensure that multiple transactions do not interfere with each other when accessing the same data. So I made it in a very simple language. No, 2 transactions cannot access the same data at the same time. If one transaction is accessing the data, the other transaction should wait. Once I complete and release the data, the other transaction can lock it. Done here. That is called as your locking techniques. So data consistency is increased if 2-3 people works in consistency. Correct results are done because when I am entering the data, you come and read. Only half data is given to you. I complete my data, I commit my data, then you can see the final results. Safe concurrent execution. You know concurrency, simultaneous execution. Right here. So we have different types of locks available in our DBMS. The very first lock is binary lock. This is the simplest lock. You lock the entire database that represents 1. You release the entire database that gives you what? 0. Done here. Simplest lock is what? Data is either fully locked or data is fully unlocked, giving the free access. Data is completely locked or data is completely released. Binary lock. Second one, shared lock. Multiple people can view the data, but anyone cannot change the data. Shared lock allows multiple transactions to read the data, but no one can change the data. That is called as shared lock. Now you people are in a shared lock. You can't close this class. Only you can leave this class. If not, you can read this class. You can listen to this class. Because we logged our YouTube channel, we logged our YouTube class so that you can only see the data. Shared lock allows multiple transactions to read the data simultaneously, but you cannot change it. Binary lock, fully you can lock the database so any other people can wait. Or you can fully release the data so it can be locked by any other one. Exclusive lock. In the exclusive lock, what we will do is we will grant one transaction full read permission plus writing access also. So when I am writing my data, you have to wait because I want to write 10 lines. I wrote 5 lines. If you see 5 lines, you'll access only these 5 lines. The other 5 lines, you missed it. So what I will do is, till I enter from 0 to 10 rows, I will not even show the data to anyone. I will not even show the data to anyone. So until I complete 0 to 10 rows, everyone should wait. That is your exclusive lock. Grant one transaction full read plus write access also. So everyone should wait. Even reading should wait. Two-phase locking acquires all needed locks in a growing phase and then releases all locks in the shrinking phase. So what I want to do is I want to update database. I want to update database on 5 tables. So I'll get the table 1 lock. I'll get the table 2 lock. Table 3 is busy. Table 3 is busy. So what I will do is I will wait until table 3 is released. Till then, table 1, table 2 is locked by me and I am not leaving them. Once I get the table 3, table 4, table 5, I lock all 5, I work on all 5, I release all 5. That is your two-phase locking. Transactions acquire all needed locks in growing phase, then releases in the shrinking phase. Done here. So transactions which require the first table, second table, third table, I will take all of them. Then once the task is completed, I will release them. We also have strict 2PL. Strict 2PL will work with 2PL and also it works with the exclusive lock. It is not only locking the table, it is also not giving the permission for anyone to read it. That is exclusive lock plus 2PL, that is called as strict 2PL. In the strict 2PL, I am trying to lock multiple tables, and also any table locked by me, it is not available to you also. That is exclusive lock, strict 2PL. Last one is rigorous 2PL, that is strictest one. The most secured one is this rigorous 2PL. It uses the 2PL, shared, and as well as exclusive locks. It uses 2PL, shared, and as well as exclusive lock. Done here. So that you can see the data, or if you want to show the data, you can show the data because of share. Or if you want to don't share the data, you cannot show the data also because of exit. Now you have multiple permissions on your data. That is rigorous 2PL. Okay, dear. Fourth unit, very first question. What are the different types of locking techniques? So why should we lock the data? When I am accessing the data, if someone comes and sees, they might get the dirty data. They might get the dirty data or data leaks. If I am accessing the data, the other transaction should wait. So how do you do this? Lock your data so that the other transaction will wait until this data is completing your task. Maybe you will also have one lecturer who comes and locks the door, and that lecturer is teaching. Even bell rings, he is teaching. Other teacher will wait outside because this teacher should release you. Then only the teacher will come and lock you. But if teacher is already teaching, the other teacher cannot come. No, dear. They can they cannot come and teach you same time, two teachers. No, they cannot do that, Dada. So how do you avoid that? Lock your database. So other transactions should wait. These are locking techniques. After this, we have deadlocks. Then when you don't lock your database, what happens is you get deadlock. What do you mean by deadlock? Very simple. Suppose there is a transaction T1. This fellow needs table A, table B. And there is one more transaction T2. This fellow needs B and A. Right? There is a transaction T1. This fellow needs A and B. There is transaction T2. This fellow needs B and A. Now what happens? T1 will lock A. T1 will work A. T1 will lock A. And T1 will work only on A. Done? B is not locked. Now T2 will lock B. And T2 will work only on B. But now what happens? T1 needs A. Sorry, T1 needs B, which is locked by T2. T2 is not releasing it. T2 is locked B and T2 needs A. Now A is locked by T1. Done here. So you get a deadlock. How do you avoid this? Two-phase locking. How do you avoid this? Two-phase locking. You want A and B, you take A and don't work on A until you get B. You want A and B, you take A, okay. Until you get B, you don't work on A. You keep both the tables locked at a time so that deadlock can be prevented. That is 2PL locking. If not, what happens, Nana? See, A is locked by T1, is locked by T2. T1 is waiting for T2 to release. T2 is waiting for T1 to release. So both of them will be waiting for each other, and that indicates the deadlock. Your transaction will not proceed for any time. Right? So what you are supposed to do, if you want T1 and T2, sorry, A and B, lock both at a time and work both on both at a time. If you lock only one and if you are waiting for the another one, that may be locked by this. So what we are supposed to do is, we have a concept called as wait and die or wound and wait. Wait and die, wound and wait. The transaction which has the older timestamp, the transaction which comes first will have the older timestamp. So T1 accessed A first. After 10 seconds, T2 accessed B. Now T1 is the older transaction. T2 is younger transaction. Now in this case, older waits for younger. Younger dies when requesting older's resources. The latest one, the younger one, will die. The younger one will release the database so that it is accessed by the T1. That is wait and die. So T1 locks A first and waiting for B. By that time, T2 locks B and waiting for A. Now T2 is the younger one. As per the request of the T1, T2 will abort the transaction, will die, and this B will be given to T1. So T1 will complete transaction on A and as well as B. Then T2 will release the data. Now T2 will take B and A. If not, wound and die. That is primitive. Older wounds, which in the sense older will kill the younger one. Older transaction, younger transaction is rolled back by older. Older transaction will kill the younger one, primitive, not voluntarily. This fellow will kill and this fellow will take the B and that fellow will perform the job. Done here. That is your deadlocks. When you are in a deadlock situation, the first thing is you have to prevent it. You should not be in a deadlock situation. First thing is you should not be in a deadlock situation. Deadlock prevention is a better thing. Still, if you are in the deadlock situation, you have to go with wait and die, wound and wait. The transaction which is accessing first will have the highest priority. The transaction which is accessing the later stages, that will be killed or that will release itself. So that data will be given to T1, T1 will complete the job. Okay dear? If you have any doubts, please, you can leave a message. Right? And one more important topic from the unit 4 is backup and recovery. Data can be crashed anytime. It may be because of system failure, it may be because of manual mistake, or it may be because of some disasters. That here, see, you take a backup of your WhatsApp in mobile phone. When you change your mobile phone, automatically you can install new WhatsApp and you can take a recovery from there. You can have a backup from there. All my contacts in my mobile phone are attached to my Gmail. So whenever I change a mobile phone, I don't need to copy the contacts. Automatically, when I log into my Gmail, all contacts come to my mobile phone. Backup and recovery technique. Then you are taking a backup of your WhatsApp, right? So when you install again the WhatsApp somewhere, you'll be able to get a recovery of it. Right now, backup and recovery. So recovery techniques are very essential techniques to restore your database after continuous failures. And failures can be of different types, Nara. So I'm just talking about what is the different techniques used when you have a failure. Then what are the different types of failures are in the next question actually. These are the different kinds of failures. Then because of these failures occurred in your database, we recover the data. Done here. So we will see first what are the different types of failures. The very first type of failure is system crash. Your software is dumb. Your hardware gone. Done because of some other reason your system is crashed. Your main memory is lost. Your power fluctuations, hardware crash leads to system crash. This is the reason for a system failure. Transaction or a system error. You gave a wrong transaction. Or you gave a transaction which cannot be performed. Then transaction failure. Logical error. You are trying to access the data which is not at all available in your database. That goes to the logical error. Concurrency control violation. Transaction between the violation like this deadlocks. Those things leads to concurrency control violation. Conflicts between transactions. Two transactions are fighting for a data. That is conflicts between transactions. See, deadlocks are the reason for conflict concurrence violation. Disk failure. Your secondary storage disk is failed. Again maybe power fluctuation. Again maybe errors or again maybe corruption, something like this. Catastrophic failure. This is disaster, fire accident, floods, done an accidental deletion. This can also be the reason your entire database is disaster. Gone. Done. These are the different types of failure reasons. Okay. Again, I got comments. Difference between BCNF and 3NF, I'll give you. Right at the end of the class, I'll give you the difference between BCNF and 3NF. Just wait because we will miss the flow. I'll give you that. These are only important questions which are 100% predictor for your upcoming questions in the semester examination. That is tomorrow. By tomorrow evening, you will feel thank you or happy because of SIA. Then these questions are very important. These questions might appear tomorrow in your question paper. Then we made a basic analysis. These are the important topics from each unit which repeatedly appear for the last year question papers. So we took up the questions now. So we pray, we wish all these questions what we discussed today should come in your question paper. You should write very well. Done, Nana. Let God bless all. Let you appreciate SIA. Don't forget to give 5 star, huh? Right? So BCNF and 3NF difference, just give me 10-15 minutes, I'll explain it. And these are all very important questions, okay? So what are the cases for the failure? What can be the reasons for the system failure? There may be a system crash. There may be a software failure. There may be a power fluctuation and your entire RAM gone, right? Or there may be floods, heavy rains, fire accident, your system, your data, everything lost. Then what you are supposed to do? Take a backup and recover them, right? So these are the various cases why your data can be failed, why you are going to lose your data. And these are the different techniques. If you lose your data, how do you recover them? These are the different techniques. If you lose your data, how do you recover them? Deferred update delays writing any changes to the actual database until the transaction is fully completed. Just now, as I said, when I'm entering 10 rows, I entered 5. Don't come and read 5. Don't come and read 5. Till I complete 10 transaction, the other fellow should wait. No undo needed. If the system fails before the commit, the entire data is also undo. Like your Word document, you are typing Word document, you did not save it, and you lost your power. What happens? It will go to the previous consistent state. Wherever you saved it, you will go. In your lab, when you are typing the programs, when you lose your power, everyone said, no, who? Then dear, why? Because you did not save your program and you shut down your system, your entire data is lost. That is the same thing what we are saying. Then in that case, you need not to worry because the entire data is ignored, rolled back by itself. Immediate update. Write changes to the database right away, even before the commit. Then again a system failure came, like your Google Docs. Like your Google Docs. Immediately you type, immediately update is done. And your system is failed. Then what you are supposed to do? Manually you need to revert back uncommitted changes. If not, what happens? You are going to get dirty data. If not, what happens? You are going to get a dirty data. This is fast, but this is risky. The safe thing is you complete entire data, then only you read it. If not, what happens? You might get dirty data. Undo, roll back, like you pressed Control Z in the Word documents, right? When you are typing, unfortunately, you deleted entire thing. Simply I press Control Z, everything come back to me. Done here. Rolls back. Reverse changes from the uncommitted data. Use before values, old values instead of new values. How will you get the old values? Control Z. Undo. Right? You can also redo, that is replay. Redo, right? Reapplies. Whatever things you done previously, again you want to apply them. Right? Instead of typing again, you can apply them again. That is reply. Then these are all techniques I am just letting you know. When your system is failed, when your data is lost, you can get back them. You can undo, you can redo, or you can save it, done here. Or you can take a snapshot of it, that is what we call as system logs. And you take a picture of it and you type them. The most important thing, checkpoints. Maybe you created checkpoints, right? Like when you play a game, right? You move from one level to another level, one level to another level. After 10 days or 15 days, you don't again start from the zero. You start from the level where you stopped. Done here, that is checkpoints. Periodically freezes the database state. Periodically, we are freezing the database state. That is called as your checkpoint. If not, you can also have a shadow paging, that is take a copy of your database. So when there is a failure to your original data, you can use the copy of it. When there is a failure to your original data, you can use a copy of it. That is shadow paging. Aries algorithm is the most smartest recovery method here. Aries algorithm is the most smartest recovery algorithm because it uses redo, undo, it uses analysis, it scans the data from the log. IBM DB2 uses that. IBM DB2 is the first database which is cloned from the database management DBMS, RDBMS, and those fellows are from the beginning. IBM DB2. Done? Those fellows uses this Aries algorithm. They do redo, they do undo, they scan the logs, they take the data from various sources. That is this. After this, what are the kinds of system failures? Just now I said. And when there is a system failure, how do you get the backup of it? Go with the checkpoints. This is a very easiest and simplest one, right? Because even when you lose the data, you lose only a latest one, only the last portion of the data. The older things are kept safe, right? When you keep on saving it, saving it, saving it, like type 5 lines save, type 10 lines save, type 20 lines save. Even if you lose only the last portion of the data. The previous things are kept safe. So the best option in the failure is checkpoints. Done here. We'll jump to the last unit, that is DDBMS, database, distributed database management system. In the distributed database management system, what we do is data can be stored into multiple places. Data can be distributed into multiple places, and it gives a illusion to you. When you perform a query, it gives a illusion to you that data is stored only in one place and you are accessing it. But actually, no, data is distributed, resources are distributed into multiple places, and whenever you access, data will be retrieved from all these necessary tables and given back to the user. Right? That is distributed database management system. In DDBMS, data is logically collected from various, like logically distributed across multiple locations. Right? What is DDBMS? In DDBMS, data is logically related, right? Distributed across multiple locations. I keep the simple data into multiple systems, but I give the illusion like all of them are stored in a single place. That is the power of DDBMS, distributed database management system. And there are different advantages of it. Easy, flexibility. Even if there is failure in one system, the other systems will work. The data is stored in the other systems that can be given to you. Right? If there is data in only one system, if this system fails, I cannot give anything. Everything is gone. Everyone should wait. Instead of that, we distribute them into the multiple places so that I can give you the data even if there is a failure in one system. Makes it easy to build change apps by splitting work across computers. See, work will be distributed automatically, work will be completed faster, effectively. That is what I'm saying. Done, dear. So, by this, what happens is your system performance increases because you are not putting burden on one system or one person, one team. Data is distributed, so your performance can be speed up, right? As the memory increases, speed decreases. As the memory increases, your speed decreases. So I split up my task to multiple places so that it is easy for me to do that. Scalability and easy expansion, right? You can add more computers easily so that as your system growing, as your database is growing, you can add more systems to it. Done here, so that you can have a capability of expanding your data. Support for modular growth and autonomy allows different parts of work and change on their own, so that you can focus on one part, the other parts can be changed, the other parts can be worked on it, the other parts can be paused, the other parts can be resumed, the other parts can be stopped. You can do anything on it. Faulty tolerance and recovery handles errors well and fixes them quickly with the backups. Just now, as I said, if there is a failure in one system, the other systems need not to wait. The other systems can serve the user, the other systems can give the information to the user. Faulty tolerance and recovery. Efficient utilization of network resources. If data is in your local system, you need not to even depend on internet. Even you need not to depend on the network. So the traffic on the network is also reduced. Uses internet connection smartly to avoid waste. Even you need not to use internet if it is in your local data. Enhanced data sharing and interoperability. Make it simple for different systems to share and use data together. Interoperability. The data, many systems can contribute to each other, can share the data with among themselves. Done here. That is your data sharing. Instead of keeping data in one place, I'm just keeping data in system 1, system 2, system 3, system 4. So that burden on one system is reduced. Traffic on one system, internet traffic on one system is reduced. If there is a failure in one system, the other systems are working, they can serve the client. They can share the data among themselves. Right? These are the different kinds of advantages of using DDBMS. As the database grows, I can add the number of systems into my database also, so that my system's capability will also grow. Done here. What are the disadvantages of databases? Automatically, your querying increases. Your number of joins increases because data is not stored in one place. Kada? You have to join table 1 with table 2 with table 3. So, complex system design and implementation. And when the system design and implementation is increased, when the number of systems are increased, your cost will also increase. Right? You have to invest more on the systems, hardware and software will be increased. And as I said first, query will be becoming more tough. You have to write more number of joins, unions, intersections, because data is not stored in one place. It is stored in 3 or 4 places and you have to pull them there. So your risk of complex querying will also increase. And because data is stored in the multiple systems here, inconsistency will also be increased. Because data is stored in the multiple systems, inconsistency will also be increased. Maybe duplication takes place. Maybe duplication takes place. And challenging the concurrency control. Difficult simultaneously 2 or 3 transactions accessing the data becomes a difficult. Difficult in recovery and faulty management. Fixing the problems takes more time and steps. Like when we have the advantages, the same type of disadvantages are also there, and you can also face the security. One system, one authenticated user, only that fellow can use, others can wait. But you can also avoid that with the help of secure this distributed databases. So there are certain disadvantages of this. Done here. Now, client server architecture. See, నేను గూగుల్కి పోతా, గూగుల్కి పోయి టైప్ చేస్తా. I go to Google and I type www.facebook.com. Google will give me the Facebook homepage. Client server response. That is called as client server architecture. As a client, I send a request to my server. Server will process my request. If there is a response available, server will throw it to me. If there is no response available, server will throw a message to me. No file, no such file existing. Done here. That is what we call as client server architecture. It is a request response structure. So as a client, I send a request. A request is processed and I get a response from the server. A client server system is a network architecture where multiple clients, users, interact with a central server or distributed server. Manages database accesses and services. This model improves performance and ensures security data handling and supports scalable solutions in the environment. Client server system is a network model where client request sends to the server. Server will process those requests, manages the database and returns the results. That is called as client server architecture. As a client, you send a request to the server. As a client, you leave a comment in the chat box. As a teacher, as a server, I respond to your comment. What is that? Client server architecture. Done here. A client server system is a network model where clients request services and a central server processes those requests and will send the return results like this. Multiple clients are connected. Multiple clients can send the request to the server. Server will process the request and server will give you the response back. We have 2-type architecture, 3-tier and n-type. Whereas in 2-type, there is only client and server. Directly client is talking to the server. In the 3-tier, there is a presentation layer, application layer and data layer. Done here. So you have to link up to the application layer. Done here. So that from there it will be sent to the data layer. From there the data will be given to the presentation layer. Then it is displayed to you. If not, direct client and server, like our comments. You talk to me, I talk to you. That's it. Done. If not, what happens is we need to take the help of the third party. We have to go to the presentation layer, application layer and data layer. Entire. More layers are done. Like network layer is also done. Right? We have to get connection first, you and me. That can be done with the help of network layer. Then we have segmentations, fragmentations, which comes next. According to this, we need to work on them. Then only here end layer client server architecture can be developed. Right? So this is one of the easiest system. This is better integrity because client and server are directly involved. User-friendly interfaces, distributes workload for faster processing and easy expansion. And here, this is done with the client and server. Don't get much confused. Server is receiving request from the client. Server will process the request. Server will send the response back to the client. You send me a comment. I understand the comment. I process the comment. I give you the answer. Data replication and data fragmentation. This is the next topic. Done here. Replication is duplication. Storing the same kind of data in different places is replication. Storing the same copy of the data, same kind of the data in different places is called as replication. Coming to the fragmentation, same data I'm not storing in multiple places, I'm dividing and I'm storing the parts of it into the multiple places. That is called as data fragmentation. Right? You are dividing and you are storing the pieces of the data in multiple places. That is fragmentation. Replication refers to the process of storing identical copies, same copies of data in multiple locations within distributed database system. That is called as replication. When it comes to the fragmentation, the process of dividing a database into smaller manageable pieces and storing them in the different places is called as fragmentation. Okay, same data storing in different places is replication. Data divided into smaller pieces and storing in different places is called as fragmentation. Same data is copied and stored in multiple sites. Replication. Same data is copied and stored in multiple sites. Replication. Data is split into smaller parts and stored in different sites. Fragmentation. Data is split into smaller parts and stored in different sites. Fragmentation. Improves availability and fault tolerance because data is stored in one place, entire thing done here. Improves efficiency and localized processing. Right? Efficiency is increased. Always remember, memory increases, speed decreases. If your memory is low, maintained in different places, your speed will also increase. Sites hold identical copies of data, different versions of the data leads to what? Redundancy, duplication. Different identical copies of data leads to what? Inconsistency. Each site holds different fragments of the data, different kind, not same. Helps in faster access during failures because if one copy is failed, there is a duplicate copy available in the another system, so I can get it from there. So when there is a failure, this is the best thing. Helps in reducing communication cost. Then unnecessarily you are wasting your storage. You are keeping the same file in 3 places, you are wasting the storage. Then if it is of 100 MB, you are storing in 3 places, 300 MB is taken. If there is 100 MB, I am dividing 30, 30, 40, communication cost is reduced, storage is reduced, done here. But the problem is if the system is failed, data is also gone. Again, you have to go with the backup techniques. We have backup techniques, okay? Full replication or partial replication. You can put full copy or half copy of it. Horizontal, vertical or mixed fragmentation. We have fragments horizontal, vertical or mixed. Column wise, row wise. Horizontal and vertical is column wise and row wise. More storage is needed due to multiple copies. Less storage is needed because we have only one copy. Done here. Again, I am just confirming you. These are the most important questions which we feel and we are teaching you them only. Most important questions. Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of fragmentation? What is fragmentation first? The copy, the data is divided into multiple subparts and we are keeping them in the multiple places. That is called as fragmentation. Okay. So the database is broken into smaller fragments and stored across various locations. That is called as fragmentation. So you have a faster query response time because data is very small in the places. You'll access it very fast. Parallel processing, you can work on 2 or 3 fragmentations at a time. You need not to wait. No deadlock situations. You have data in 3 different places. You can work on 3 different places. If there is a failure in one place, the other 2 places are still working. The other 2 places can be still accessible to you. Reduce network load because data is in same 3 different places. Traffic is reduced. And if data is in your own local place, you need not to work on network also. Enhanced security. Done here. We will have better security when compared to this. Improved faulty isolation. See, when you get a fail, once the data is stored in a single place and the system is failed, then entire data is lost. Here, data is distributed into multiple places now here. So even if you lose your data, one portion is gone. The other portions are still available for us. Easy of scalability. You can simply move from one place to another place with the help of this. Right? Disadvantages, complex fragmentation. You don't know which fragmentation type you need to follow. Whether you need to follow this horizontal or vertical or mixed, you will be not able to know. Increase the resource overhead, then the resources cost will increase, software will increase, then the system maintenance will increase, redundancy and duplication risk. Sometimes fragmentation is not done correctly, redundancy will also be increased. Done here. Now group by and order by clause, yes, I'll explain it. Right? Then the last topic for the day. After this, I'll explain group by, order by, difference between 3NF and BCNF. Two topics. So, how does the distributed database structure is stored? See, in the distributed database structure, we have database stored in the different sites like this. In database 1, database 2, database 3, database 4. Like this, in different places, I will be storing my database. Now, the client who is connected to the database site N, this fellow can also access the data which is in the database 1. That is the power of distributed databases. And all these things are connected by your cloud services. That is what more trending on nowadays. Distributed data repository. In the repository, what we store? Metadata. And when you want to access this, we need to have different layers. Application programs, local DBMS, distributed DBMS. That is what I said, network is reduced. If this client is accessing the local database, network load is completely reduced. If the client is accessing the local database of site 1, now this one should go to distribute. From here it comes to distribute. From here it goes to client. So that there is a problem in it. Done here. That is the only thing which you need to focus. This is about your distributed database systems. This is about your 5 units of your DBMS. From unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, unit 5. We covered maximum questions. And all these questions are important for you for short answers and for long answers. You might get them in the short answer, you might get them in the long answer. But exclusively in the unit 1, I said 5 definitions. In the unit 1, data, information, database, DBMS, metadata. Out of this 5, you'll get 1 at least in the short answer. Pakka. And after that, what we have? Advantages and disadvantages of file processing system. Done here. Very, very important. Right? ER diagram, very, very important. In the unit 2, we discussed about normalization, right? Quite important question. Right? After this, we also discussed about DDL, DML, DCL commands, subqueries, joins in the unit 3. Done here. DDL, DML, DCL, joins, subqueries in the unit 3. Unit 3 is a lengthy one. Right? In the unit 4, in unit 5, we discussed about RDBMS, client-server architecture. Okay. In the unit 4, we discussed about system failures, backup techniques, right? What are the recovery techniques, deadlocks, locking techniques. Done. Unit 4 is also done. Right here. See, now when it comes to the difference between 3CNF and 3NF and BCNF, BCNF is not a special normalization. It is not a next level of normalization form. After 3NF, we also have 4NF and 5NF. But BCNF is a special case of not the 3NF. BCNF is a special case of 3NF. See, if a table need to be in 3NF, first table should be in 2NF. Okay? And there should be no transitive dependency. There should be no transitive dependency. So what do you mean by transitive dependency? You have to understand what is functional dependency. Normalization says your table is in 2NF, 3NF or BCNF, wherever you are. I want only one dependency, that is functional dependency. I want only one dependency, that is functional dependency. If there is a table with 5 columns, one column is taken as key attribute, key, primary key, candidate key, super key, surrogate key. One column is taken as key. The other columns are taken as non-key attributes. Okay? All these non-key attributes should be dependent on key attribute. That is functional dependency. If I know the value of key attribute, I can find the value of non-key attributes. That is functional dependency. If there is something like this, a key is dependent on another non-key. One non-key is dependent on another non-key. Then that becomes transitive dependency. So what are you supposed to do? You need to remove these 2 columns into a separate table. Make one as primary key, make one as non-key. You divide this table into separate table. Non-key is dependent on key now. Functional dependency. It becomes what? Functional dependency. This is 3NF. Are you able to understand, Nana? Key attribute, non-key attributes. Non-key attribute should dependent on key. If there is any other dependency, I am not going to accept. There is transitive dependency in 3NF. Transitive dependency. Non-key is dependent on non-key. Non-key is dependent on non-key attribute. So what are you supposed to do? Make this non-key attribute as a key. Put it in a separate table. That's it. Now what is BCNF? A little opposite to this is BCNF. Key attribute is determining non-key attributes. Non-key attributes are dependent on key. But in a case, if this key attribute itself is dependent on non-key attribute, then what I'm supposed to do? BCNF. Right? In 3NF, non-key is dependent on non-key. In BCNF, key is dependent on non-key. So you take both of them into a separate table. You make non-key attribute as key attribute as non-key attribute. You take both of them into a separate table. You make it as key attribute as a non-key attribute as a key attribute. That is how you can solve it. This is BCNF. Now, order by clause is used to display your data in the ascending order or in the descending order. Right? Based upon one column, you can choose one column and you can display your entire data in the form of ascending order or in the descending order based upon that. Usually what happens is, in the order how you entered your rows, in the same order data is stored in the database, displayed in the database also. Your results are also displayed in the same order what you store. But you want to sort them in the ascending or descending, use order by. But when it comes to the group by clause here, group by clause is not a row in your data. The results of group by clause are also not stored as a values in your database. No, we are not storing them as a values in your database. But with the help of the group by clause, you will try to find out the aggregation of the data. Like suppose there is a hotel, there are different designations like chef, manager. Then we have the chef for morning shift, evening shift, night shift. We have manager for morning shift, night shift, evening shift, like this. We have servers, waiters, cleaners, all these people. I want to find out how much I am paying for the manager only. In morning shift, evening shift, night shift, 3 shifts, I want to find out only for manager. Then what I have to do? I have to apply the group by clause on the designation manager. And remember, always the results of the group by clause are numerical values, because you have to apply the aggregate functions like minimum, maximum, count, sum, average. The results generated by the group by clause will be like this: minimum, maximum, sum, count, average. So you can apply this group by done on the designation, but the result will be in the form of numerical values only. Always group by clause will give the results as numeric clause. So now I want to find out what is the maximum salary I paid or average salary I am paying for the waiter. Who comes morning, evening, afternoon? Everyone. Right? I can do this. If not, I can also find out what is the salary I am paying to the day shift employees. So you have to select the shift as day. Average of salary, minimum of salary, maximum of salary. Like this you can do. Okay, dear. Still anything else? Group by order by, yes. Can you say 2 mark questions, please? I said the 2 marks questions for the first things not here. For short answer is half side page enough, 3-4 points. No, I can't say anything as such. Right, one paper is enough. Then we can't say anything as such. Based upon your question asked, then you have to go with the number of pages. So minimum you need to write 4 pages, that is 8 sides for a long answer. And again, it depends upon the Mahendra. It depends upon the question asked, Mahendra. Please do that. Okay. Sir, in SQL, which command is important for tomorrow exam? For in Sultana, you read DDL, DML, DCL. These 3 we discussed today. Maybe we are going to get those 3 only. DDL, DML, DCL. These are the 3 important things. Okay. So it depends upon the number of pages you need to write. It may be 3, it may be 4, it may be 5, right? No, this is not for Bcom General Syed Juveria. This is for Bcom Computer Applications or Bcom Computers. Right? Still anyone facing any doubts, please leave a message. I'll be able to help you. Done? Right. Alright. Students, please look at the screen. I'm just displaying the question paper of last year. Done? You can see the question paper note here. This is the last year question paper. So just you are asking about short answer questions. No? Just now I said 5 questions from the unit 1. Data, database, information, database management system, metadata. You read this by 100% you are going to have one database. Done? And integrity constraint is discussed by us. Integrity constraint is what? Rules applied on your data. We have domain integrity. We have this fellow, no, Salman Sheikh. Can I clear my exam in one night before? By reading this answer, I forgot my answers here. Then, obviously, yes, dear. Read everything, so you will be able to clear. No problem for it. Then, so integrity constraints here. Just now we completed integrity constraints. No, in the integrity constraints we have entity integrity, we have domain integrity, we have referential integrity. Sunil, referential integrity. If you want to maintain a relationship between 2 tables, there should be a primary key in table 1, foreign key in table 2. Referential integrity. Heap file also we have done today. Right, in the heap file, what happens? You will be throwing the data into multiple places. Right, wherever the place is free, you put the data. Insertion is easy. Retrieval is problem. I discussed this today. And group by queries just we discussed. Client server computing we discussed. See, out of these 8 questions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we discussed. Out of 8, how many you need to write? 5. So if this question paper is given to you, you are answering 5 questions after listening to our class. Done? Very, very important questions. Yes. What are the advantages of RDBMS over file management system? The very first topic, data redundancy, data consistency. Done here. Data sharing. All those things are examples of this. Ramlakan, Java, we will take little more time, Ramlakan. Right? We will come up with the Java also. Right? We will see. Kasir Sultana, maybe 2 papers is not enough, dear. Increase it to 4. हाँ, उतना कंजूस नको रखो जी, थोड़ा 4-5 पेज अच्छा लिखो. Right? You write, you extend, you expand. Right? A relational algebra we discussed. File organization methods, heap method, indexing, hashing, those things are there. Normalization 1 and 2 asked. Maximum they'll ask 1 and 2, Nana. In very reasonable, very tough cases, they'll ask you 3, or as someone asked in the doubt, they will ask you 3 and BCNF. DML is asked, data manipulation language. Right? I'm asking you to don't take any chance. Read three. Read DDL, DML, DCL. Read all three, but here it is very clearly asked about DML only. Okay? Kinds of failures and failure controlling methods in the database recovery. System may be failed because of crash, software errors, hardware errors, or the disasters, deadly error, manual failures, anything. Deadlocks and preventions. I said no, don't go to deadlock situation. You have to prevent it. How do you prevent deadlocks? With the time stamping methods, with the locking techniques, with the optimizing techniques. One such method we discussed today, that is locking techniques. Structure of distributed database, the last topic what I show you that. Replication and fragmentation. Duplicate copies of data is stored in multiple places. Replication. One data will be divided into different parts. Fragmentation. See, in the long answer, if this question paper comes to you, today class is also helping you to write extra answers. Not only the answers, you can also write extra answers. All the best. Then here, in the one more question paper of last year's, integrity constraint, functional dependency. In the normalization, I was saying you what is functional dependency. All the non-key attributes are dependent on key attribute. Functional dependency. If a non-key attribute is dependent on other non-key attribute, transitive dependency. Okay. In the unit 2 normalization, maximum Tala maximum normalization is enough Tala. But in any case, you can also learn this indexing. Indexing is one question which is asked for 2 times, right? So don't take chance. Read one more. Have a one more backup. Have one more case. Then go with indexing also. Views we discussed it today, right? Views are what? The subset of your database. A portion of your database is called as a view. Database errors, fragmentation is done today. What is fragmentation here? You are dividing the data into multiple places and you are storing it. Decomposition, in normalization, we decompose tables into smaller parts. DBA we discussed today. What are the roles and functions of the DBA? Done. Group by class, just now I said. Then with the help of group by class, we will be able to club data from various designations or various queries, and the result of group by class is always a numerical value. Remember, the result of group by class is always a numerical value. Boy's card is important, Tala Ahmed. Maybe it can be asked for a short answer. Our boy's card will be asked with the difference of 3CNF, 3NF. So you have to read the difference of 3NF and BCNF. Done. So 3-level architecture, we have physical level, logical level or conceptual level, external level or view level. 3 places. Basic building blocks of ER diagrams, entities, attributes, relationships. Those are basic building blocks. Normalization, indexing. In the second unit, you are asking about normalization. No, please read indexing also. Salamat, maybe not in long answer. Yes, it can be asked in boy's code. Boy's code will be asked only in the short. Backup and recovery techniques, locking protocols, binary, exclusive lock, shared lock. We have seen so many advantages and disadvantages of DBMS client server architecture. We have just seen. Then we have 2-tier, entire, right? So these are the 2 previous year question papers, and we have covered almost everything, so that you are not just scoring the marks, you are also getting good grades by this 2 hours of class. Done. So thank you everyone, and I would like to thank the management of SIA for this great opportunity. God bless you all. All the best, very best for your tomorrow examinations. Right? I request you to download the SIA app from the Play Store. Right? Go and give a search for SIA LMR app. You can download it from the Play Store. You will be able to access this video content. You will be able to access the PDFs, topic-wise notes, previous year question papers, and many things. And also do follow our social media handles. We are in Insta, we are in Threads, we are in Facebook, we are in YouTube. Do subscribe our channel. Do follow our Insta page for the basic updates. Even Usmania University is also collaborated with SIA Nodia. so you can get the updates of Usmania year, our SIA in the Usmania done. So please do follow them. Nana, passing marks is 40% of your 50, that is 20. You need to get 21 for 50. You need to get 21 for 50. Salman say 21 आना चाहिए मोहम्मद गाउस 21 आना चाहिए आपको अगर 21 आ गए तो आपको हो जाता done all the best shall we close our class is there anything to be discussed any comment to be answered yes Talha Ahmed you are free to ask you can ask dear Ajay Kumar my pleasure गेमर्स फीड पेपर इतना हार्ड नोट यार सिलेबस में क्या क्या है उन लोग वही पूछ रहे यू हैव टू रीड दैट्स इट एटलीस्ट रीड 3 यूनिट्स मिस्टर गेमर्स फीड एटलीस्ट रीड 3 यूनिट्स 100% you'll feel the question paper very easy right in unit 5 3 questions are enough yes at least you'll get one long answer see in the unit 5 there are disadvantages and disadvantages of DDBMS client server computing. So you read this two, what is DDBMS and what are the advantages and the disadvantages of DDBMS, structure of DDBMS, and the replication, fragmentation, and the last one is what client server computing. These three are enough. You will get one long answer. जी अगर आप पास मार्क्स चाहिए तो ये बस है जी आज क्या पढ़े वो बस है आपको. The things what I shared today is पक्का you are going to complete your subject. Sir, in unit 3. Now, in the unit 3, you have to read DDL commands, DML commands, nested queries, subqueries, group by clause, order by clause. Right? Unit 3 is a lengthy one, a bigger unit. Right? You read DDL, DCL, and nested queries, subqueries. At least you might write one long answer or one SAQ. At least one SAQ you can write. One question to लिख सकते जी आप. DDL, DML, DCL queries. Because lot of things are included in the unit 3. App is asking Ajay Kumar 29 rupees. Yes, you have to pay that 29 rupees here for accessing the video content, for accessing the PDFs, topic wise notes, previous year question papers, clarifications. There are a lot of things, right? For just 29 rupees. Data fragmentation is in unit 5. Gamers feeds are Konsa University, Usmania University. Sir, 4th unit important questions, please. Now, in the 4th unit, you have to work with locking protocols, backup and recovery techniques, reasons for failure, deadlocks. These 4 are fine. Deadlocks, reasons for failure, backup and recovery techniques, done, and locking protocols. If there is anything also, Gandhi University, we will try it here. Muhammad Gauss, God bless us. Thank you, Muhammad. My pleasure. You done with 2 units only. Which unit, Salah Ahmed? So if you are not done with the 5th unit, go read 5th unit. It is easy. 5th unit will be completed very easily. Yes, for Mahatma Gandhi University also we will try. Comedy factor 371, you have to write at least 4 or 5 pages. Don't compromise for 2, 3. First and second unit is done. Panchwa Padoji, Talam. 5th one, start reading 5th one. That gives you better these things. Right? Shekhar, yes. 1 page is enough, Muhammad Gauss, for short answers. 1 page is enough. Okay. Shall we leave for the day? Thank you. All the very best. We will see. Right, tomorrow, if you get benefit out of this after your examination, please appreciate us in the social media, give the 5-star, then dear, if anything can be done, appreciate. Thank you all. Sashi, thank you. It's my pleasure, Sai. Bye bye, boss.